Здравствуйте, меня зовут Richard Gon. Приятно познакомиться. Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version, and first of all, I'm sorry, I apologize for the sound of construction. Maybe there is some construction site. So this time, please enjoy my podcast or this episode, and listening to the sound or the noise of that construction site. Anyway, so this time, as title shows, what I'd like to talk about is Ainu kick Russians out of the border, about which I'd like to tell you some stories. So first of all, if you are sober, well, I think most of you are sober, but if you are sober, well, if you are not intoxicated by the effect or by the efficacy of, for example, drugs or marijuana, I think you can understand that what is written in the title, or what I have just said, is really unconventional stuff. Or what I have just said is that, you know, Ainu Swords, for example, Ainu Swords has the power to kick Russian people out of the border. Is really incoherent, or such a thing never happens. Such a thing is not real. It's not real, which is what you can understand if you have sober minds, or if you have minds which are not intoxicated by drugs or marijuana. But you know, please imagine that what if you are Ukrainian people and heard of this episode, or what I'm talking about. Well, so if you are, for example, Ukrainian people and who are listening to this episode in this present time. So this is being recorded this recording is being made in the beginning of February in 2022. So this is a time when Russian troopers or Russian soldiers or Russian military services came to the vicinity near the border between Ukraine and Russia. So maybe Ukrainian people are afraid of wars which may happen in the future. So which is why Ukrainian government and Ukrainian people prepare for the incoming wars or incoming fightings. So which means, you know, Ukraine is in such a situation. So please imagine that. Please imagine world map, or please imagine Asia map. So I mean a neighbor country to Russia. So anyway, I live in an insular nation in East Asia. So my country is next to Russia, across the sea. My country is next to Russia. So Russia is bordered with many countries, and my country is one of such countries. One of such countries. So, you know, of course, my country is insular nation, which is why, you know, my country is detached from the continent, or my country is away. My country is away from Russia, because there is the ocean, or there is a sea between Russia and my country. Anyway, I'm in such a situation, but you know, so imagining the size and imagining the economic scale of Russia. Maybe some of you have been concerned why my country can keep independence from Russia. So, and what if I said the answer is, for example, the answer is because my country has an Ainu sword, and well, my country has an Ainu sword, which is why we can keep our independence away from Russia or away from any other huge countries. So my country is really close to China. My country is also really close to China. So considering geographic location of my country, it's natural. It might be natural for you to natural for you to think like that my country is going to be governed or conquered by other huge countries in the near future. But my country is independent. So if I said the reason is because there is a sword called Ainu sword which takes enemies out of our country, which is why my country is really strong. So of course this is an outright lie. This is an outright lie. So this is an outright lie. So our country has. So I don't know whether my country has a sword called Ainu sword. So maybe there might be some kind of Ainu sword. But at least if there are some swords called Ainu swords, if there are some swords called Ainu swords in my country, maybe those swords do not have such a supernatural power strong enough to take enemies out of my country. It's just for China. Japan is so I live in Japan. So for China, my country is not so valuable for themselves because so for China, my country is located eastward, which is why there is no reason to conquer my country because so passing my country, there's not only stuff they can meet is the sea. So my country is Japan. So Japan is located in such a place anyway. So maybe nobody believes that if there are swords called Ainu swords and they have strong power to kick enemies or kick Russians out of my country. If you have sober minds, you don't believe such a story. But so in this situation, maybe Ukrainian people are scared of Russian enemies or Russian soldiers intruding into their own country. So which is why in other words, they do not have sober minds. Which is why if they are too scared to think rationally, or if Ukrainian people are too scared or too afraid, Ukrainian people are too afraid of. If Ukrainian people are too afraid of Russian enemies or Russian soldiers intruding into their own countries, so if they are too afraid of Russian intruders to think rationally or to think normally, so they may believe what I said. So there's a possibility that some Ukrainian people believe what I said, that Ainu swords have strong powers enough to kill or kick Russians out of my country or out of our countries. So I'm sorry for bringing the conclusion to the last. I'm sorry for the conclusion of this episode to bringing to the last. But what I'd like you to know in this episode is that the essence of persuasiveness is one of the essences of persuasiveness is this one, which means so to persuade. This is a kind of a malicious technique, or this is a kind of a bad or wrong technique. This is a kind of a malicious or wicked technique, but to persuade other people. So it's a kind of a technique. But it might be good for you to target the situation of those people who are not sober. which means, in this time, maybe some Ukrainian people are not sober because of the fear of Russian soldiers, which is why, for example, if you'd like to sell some iron swords, just a wooden sword you picked up somewhere is fine to call, like, this bar or this wooden bar is an iron sword, and this has a strong power to take Russian people, Russian troopers out of your country. So for example, if you pick up some bar made of wood, it's fine to sell. It's possible to sell that sword at, for example, $100 per bar. For example, it's possible to sell such a sword in Ukraine. So of course, if you try to sell me, if you try to sell me that sword or that bar, I wouldn't purchase that sword, because it's too expensive for just a branch of wood, or for just a bar of wood, because nobody with sober minds would not purchase such a bar priced as, such a bar sold at $100, $100 in this case. But in the case of Ukrainian people, so they are afraid of, they are really, or they are extremely afraid of Russian troopers intruding into their countries, which is why they may not be able to think normally, or think rationally, or think logically, which is why that might be a chance for you to sell such garbage-like stuffs. And so, for example, you can pick up some bar you picked up somewhere in your country, and this is called an iron sword owned by Japanese government, and I took this sword from Japanese. I purchased this sword from Japanese government, so you can say that I'm considerate for Ukrainian people, which is why I sell this bar at or for 1,000 US dollars to protect your own lives, which you can do such a swindling stuff. You can do such a swindling. So this is which is one of the essences of persuasiveness, like to persuade other people to buy what you want to sell. So that is a kind of technique, because so capturing the people who are not in sober situations, or capturing people who are not in sober situations, or capturing, for example, distressed situations, or capturing some situations people have when they can't think logically or rationally. That is such actions are kind of techniques to successfully persuade other people to do what you want them to do, which is what I'd like you to which is what I'd like you to know this time. So going back to the original topic, iron swords kick Russians out of the border. So of course this is an outright lie. This is our country may have such swords, or wooden swords, but maybe they don't have such a special power, or maybe those iron swords do not have such supernatural power to kick Russian people or Russian troopers out of my country. So my country is a normal country in such a sense, with mechanical weapons. And if Russian troopers come to our country, maybe we fight against those Russian military service by using mechanical weapons or chemical weapons if our country has which is what I like, which is also what I like you to know this time. So to prevent yourself from being deceived, or to avoid being deceived by other people, so please keep your sober mind, and please keep your logical think, please keep your ability to think logically, which is also what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you. Paka paka. And finally, please make sure that please do not use this kind of persuasive technique, or please do not use this technique only in favor of you, or only, for example, only in favor of your own desires, because this type of technique is useful for mind control, and maybe some cults have used this kind of technique, like bringing people into a situation, or into a condition on which those people can't think normally, or rationally, or those people bring, and such cults people, or such cults sometimes capture people who are not in sober situations, or such cults sometimes catch certain kinds of people who are easily deceived, because some people have huge worries, or some people have severe worries, which is why cults or cult people capture or target those kinds of people with huge worries, or severe concerns, which is why so to that type of people with severe worries, or severe fears, this type of persuading technique is useful, which is why please do not use this kind of technique in only for your benefit, or only for your desires. And in short, please do not use this in a bad way, which is what I'd like you to know this time. And I also forgot the description of Ainu people. So Ainu people are people different from the majority people in my country, and Ainu people live in northern part of this country. So the northern part is, for example, Hokkaido is the place for Ainu people, and Ainu people are different from the majority people, and the majority people of this country are called Yamato people, or they call themselves Yamato people, which is what I forgot. So I added this explanation in the last part of this episode.